Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Revamp Your Mind podcast. And today I just wanted us to talk about something called compounding. And in real sense, compounding has really helped me in my journey. As you all know, I've really lost weight. I have lost weight like I checked one time. I think I was just seated somewhere and I had all these mental issues going on, and I really wanted to taste something like peace, but I never really knew how do I get to that space of peace or being peaceful. Like things are going on in my life and I still felt like there was something that I was lacking. I was always feeling like there's still some emptiness inside me, but I can't really quite figure out where is this emptiness coming from. And so I embarked on a journey of self-love, self care, self discovery, transformation, knowing myself better. I was open to receiving new knowledge. I was open to just be humble because receiving knowledge needs humility. Receiving knowledge needs humility because you've got to be humble to really accept the fact that you don't know anything and you would want to know new things. So I embarked on a journey of just exposing myself to new knowledge, and it has really helped me a lot, guys, a lot. So I just want to touch bases on something called compounding. I was talking to a friend and we mentioned compounding, and I've just been looking at how compounding has really helped me in my journey. So what's compounding? Compounding is that thing that you do once, then when you repeat it again, it forms like a habit or it forms a lifestyle. So compounding is the little habits that you do, then the ripple effect of the small habit or the small decision that you made. At the end of the day, it's gonna have like a ripple effect. A ripple effect is like an end product to something. So let's look at now like my journey. Let's say now it's now like the weight loss. I decided to start eating healthy. I decided to do away with most of the junk food because I was really stress eating. And so I had to do away with the junk food and replace junk with healthy things. That was vegetables, fruits. And so because I was stress eating, I had to go to the root and know why am I stress eating. And so this is the thing. Excellence is not an act, but a habit. So the more you continue to do the good habits, the more you choose wiser and healthier ways to feed your body, the more your body will thank you. It will thank you so much that you're gonna start seeing yourself glow from the water intake you've been taking. You're gonna see yourself becoming more healthier because of a decision you took, like let's say a year ago, a month ago. And this is the thing. When you're in this journey, sometimes there's discipline. But when you fall or when you miss a mark, that does not mean that now you stay there. You've got to stand up, dust yourself up, and start moving again now with the healthier habits that you had started. Because most of the time, you're like, you've chosen a healthy habit, but along the way, you just find yourself maybe doing something else. Now, that does not mean that now you should be now there criticizing yourself that you're not doing the right thing. You should be like, okay, you're learning, you're growing. You've got to give yourself grace. You've got to give yourself some grace, because one of the things that you can really find yourself in is a loop of always looking at yourself as if you're not making progress, but it's because you're not even tracking the progress. So I had to start tracking the progress that I'm doing, celebrating the small wins. The fact that today you've made a healthier decision about your meal, that's enough. I've been learning to take a day at a time, a step at a time, without beating myself up. And so in this podcast, I just love talking to you guys about my life, my story, how I do things. Like this podcast is just me sharing me, how I do life. And so this is the thing. Let's get to a place where when you choose like now to live to according to a certain habit, it now becomes a lifestyle. What do I mean with this? The fact that you started to read a book, don't look at that day that you're just reading a book. That day, look at, have you done like a chapter? Have you learned something from a chapter of that book? What have you learned? How are you going to apply what you have learned from that book in your life? How does that book relate with your life? Those are things that I really ask myself, and they have really helped me a lot. So the power of compounding is so powerful, because when you start doing that good habit like today, the ripple effect of that good habit in the next 6 months, it's gonna be something so amazing. You're gonna be shocked of yourself. You're gonna be shocked, like, oh my goodness, how did I get here? I find myself always asking myself, how did I get here? How did I get here? But I got here by doing the small, taking action, taking action from the first little habit to the next step, all that. And so in the next 6 months or a year, you find yourself, you've gotten to a place where you only envisioned with your head, but you are not there at that moment. But now you're living in a dream. You're in a reality that you always wanted to be in. And so that's why I now say, like, when you start doing this good habits, it becomes a lifestyle. You don't even have to be reminded to do something. You don't have to be reminded to read a chapter a day. You do know you would want to read and learn. So I have adapted this culture of continuous learning, and that's what I want to push. Like, for me, I believe like continuous learning is the real deal. Because every time you've got to keep on revamping your mind, you've got to keep on renewing your mind. Because every time you're in a space where there are new perspectives about life, and you've got to be open-minded for you to be able to see life not only from your perspective, but even from another perspective that probably you have received. And then learning to forgive yourself is very, very important. It's good for you to learn how to forgive yourself for the things and the decisions that you made in the past. For me, this was not easy. It was not easy to self-forgive, because most of the time I was looking at myself like, why did I do that? Why did I make such a decision in my life? But that should not be the question. The question should be, okay, you did it, take the L. You did it. Things went the way they went. There is nothing much now you can do, but you can be able to do better. When you know better, you do better. So start exposing yourself to new knowledge and new information so that you can be able to do better. Because how can you do better if you do not know better? That means you've got to be informed for you to make informed decisions. So it's good for you to embrace the culture of continuous learning. You've got to challenge yourself. You've got to be curious. Be curious about life. Be curious about new perspectives that you don't even know about. And you'll be like, I would want to know. I would want to learn. I would want to know how to do 1, 2, 3, and 4. And sometimes I feel like we have so much limiting beliefs, and the limiting beliefs make us make just decisions just like that because of our limiting beliefs. And so you've got to embark on a journey of questioning your belief systems. Like belief system, your belief system is what like really makes you as a human being, because you're a result of your belief system. You're a result of what you believe. Because people say like, there's this thing of like understanding. Understanding is this truth that you stand under. So you've got to be renewing this truth, because sometimes you might be living in a lie. You might be thinking you cannot lose weight, and that's just you thinking that, but you can do it. You might be thinking, no, I can't be able to eat healthy, but you can do it. You might be thinking, no, I cannot be able to control my portions, like I cannot be able to eat less food. I was reading this book called Ikigai, and it was talking about 80% intake of food. So that moment where you feel like you're almost full, you cannot be like, okay, I am done with this food. You don't have to continue eating. And so these are habits I chose, and I started doing them, and they have been working. If you follow me on my platforms, you know that this me losing weight has just like, it's not like it has happened like magic. it has been continuous. It is the compounding effect of a decision that I made, of an action that I started taking, a good habit, an action of going to therapy, addressing my stress issues and knowing what is the root cause of stress, what is the root cause of the things that are going on in my life and they are going wrong, and what do I do to solve them? What do I do? So I had to question myself. I had to question my belief system.